So in this part, we'll be talking about economy in Cambodia. What is current condition of economy in Cambodia and how have we achieved nowadays economy? Agriculture still remains the main source of income in Cambodia, then along with textiles and tourism. In 2019, Cambodia had a GDP of $27.9 billion per capita. Yet this GDP is still low compared to most of Cambodia's neighbor country. Even though Cambodia's policy is actively associated with the neighbor country like Thailand and Vietnam. Back in the day during Sangkom period that is also known as Kingdom of Cambodia, led by Norodom Sihanouk from 1953 to 1970, is also known as one of the best period of Cambodia. Economic in Cambodia was improving to better economic. There were lots of infrastructure, factories, and a lot of job opportunity for the citizens. Then Khmer Rouge came and destroyed most of infrastructure and evacuated the citizens to rural area. So economy at that time was rapidly decreased, which was also one of the reasons the economy in Cambodia is slow and is also one step behind. However, currently, Cambodia has grown the average rate of 7.7% from 1998 to 2019. Nevertheless, due to COVID-19 pandemic, economy in Cambodia decreased to minus 3.1%. This outbreak has a huge damage on Cambodia economy. It has slowed down the economic recovery Cambodia has planned, and on top of that, it has raised the poverty in Cambodia as well. It was found that only 4.5 million people of Cambodia population were nearly in poor condition. Yet the pandemic has increased about 0.5 more million people to be in poverty. Now let us continue to the last point, which is Cambodia culture. Cambodia culture's biggest inspiration is India. India has inspired lots on Cambodia, such as religious, art, belief, and other activity, and also language. From 9th to 14th century was known as the Golden Age of Cambodia and also known as Khmer Kingdom of Angkor, when everything was artful and peace. During that time, the literal language was Sanskrit and the spoken language was Khmer, and only male was allowed to study literal language, but that doesn't mean female wasn't allowed to study at all, but non-female would want to, or they can study from their parents. However, female are now have the equal right to study and get education or do anything that male can do. Temples were built to the worship to order immortal. Then eventually it collapsed due to civil wars and improvement of neighbors' country power, etc. Nowadays, 97.1% of Cambodian population believe in Buddhism. So Cambodia still put Buddhism as the main and official religion, even though Cambodia is developing to modern technology. Some activities still remain the same, such as wedding events. Chumban, where everyone go to pagoda and bring food to the monk, etc. Then there's also other religions as well, such as 2% Islam, 0.3% Christianity, and 0.5% other religions. When it comes to greeting, Cambodia always greet each other with respect. When greeting, they would put their palms together. Last but not least, traditionally Cambodians always have their meal 3 times a day with rice, soup, and other main dish and sauce. Now moving on to the hard news that Cambodia faced recently.